So I wanted to jump on here today and go over some frequently asked questions with you guys about this program and about liver flushing in general. So first of all, liver flushing in general, a lot of people have the question, do I have to change my diet? Um, no. The short answer is no, you do not have to change your diet. And I am like specifically all about that because I just want to make this procedure, this protocol as accessible as possible for people. And so I really think that too much diet changing just is too significant of a hindrance and holds too many people back. And really you can have remarkable results with liver flushing basically approached from whatever diet. It is rather important that you're eating at least some fat, um, because if you have no fat in your diet, then your body isn't really that used to producing bile. So then when you consume the flush mixture, which includes a significant amount of oil, the body it hasn't really been in the groove of producing bile to digest that. So that's really the only thing. And what's really cool about sort of starting liver flushing journey in this way and not holding or requiring a certain diet is that the process itself develops and strengthens an intuition in yourself and communication from your body, basically internal guidance that starts to sort of gently direct you towards foods and diet and lifestyle that support your health and make you feel better and make your body feel better. So it's what a beautiful way, right? To be able to not force ourselves and not willpower ourselves through something, but to actually let ourselves, as sort of like the veil, the haze of toxicity and congestion is like lowered, and cleared from our eyes, that we're actually just guided and we know what to do and we are able to follow our natural instincts. And I just see and think that change that's driven from that kind of inner guidance and natural inclination is has a way higher chance of success in the long run and succeeding, and sticking. Because it's like we can all force ourselves to do something for a while, but if we're forcing it, then it's kind of going to come like crashing down on us at some point. Whereas if it's really coming from that inner movement, like almost body directed as opposed to top down, mental construct, when it's coming from the body, it seems to have a much, a better lasting effect. So that's the way I like to see people make dietary changes. And although I'm sure many of you know that I am very, very into healing foods, I am making this not an access point barrier, really come in, whatever you're doing, however you're eating, let's start from there because a lot of even like cravings and habits and desires for certain foods are really driven by the ecosystem of dis-ease and toxicity in the body. So let's address that first and see where we can get to from there. Another question is sort of on that same vein is, can I do liver flushing even if I have a lot of food restrictions? Yes, generally you don't have to change your diet much leading up to the flush. There's just about one day where your diet will be shifted. And I will say that for the other question as well. There is one day where we have to apply certain guidelines for the protocol to work. So you don't have to change your diet in general, but there is one day per month or per flush cycle that you will have to observe some dietary change. And in terms of food restrictions, so again, you don't have to do much of anything different in your daily life. And then the only issues, so like the ingredients for the flush are an oil, usually olive oil, um, and usually a citrus juice. And also we take Epsom salts orally or magnesium sulfate. Um, if you have a problem with any of those three ingredients, there are some alternatives, but we do need to find like an oil option. And then, depending on if you really can't do any citrus or even, not even lemon, then there are a few other options as well. But other than that, pretty much we don't really have problems with food restrictions. Another question is, how much time does it take, and can I do liver flushing if I'm busy and or work a full-time job? Well, yes, my program in particular is designed to do learning on your own time, and and the whole process itself won't take much change in your lifestyle. And to complete the actual flush, which would be about once per month, you need to carve out about a day and a half where your routine is going to be changed. And that can be scheduled for whenever is most convenient for you. So it can be any days of the week. Some people like to do it over the weekend, but some people have different kinds of schedules. So it's not going to be like we're all doing this on the exact same day. You're going to have the flexibility to make it work for your schedule. And then as you sort of get used to the routine, you'll be able to, sort of find out like what you can accomplish the day after the flush, or how much rest you need, stuff like that. But yeah, you're looking at basically at the most, 2 days out of the month that would be changed. And then, some people who are really, really ill may have like a recovery period of a few days as well. Generally, the people that are that ill aren't working anyways, so that usually isn't that much of a difference, or a problem. But something to keep in mind that there can be a few days where like the energy is a little bit lower and maybe your digestion isn't quite as robust, but usually it clears up for most people pretty quick. Another question is it painful to move stones out of my liver? I mean, this question really makes a lot of sense. People have this fear a lot that they see these pictures of stones and they're like, well, the bile ducts have got to be pretty small, and how does this all work? Well, the procedure takes care of, accounts for these things, and the body is super miraculous. Always just keep getting reminded of that. But parts of the protocol involve softening the stones. So really stones isn't really the best word for them. They're like putty conglomerates of cholesterol sort of built around maybe a toxin in the middle. So they're soft, they're like putty. It's some of them are more calcified, and the ones in the gallbladder are usually more calcified, so they're more hard. So maybe that's why we call them stones. But the ones in the liver are more like liver blobs, you know. So there's not much to sort of injure with that. And then we additionally soften them. So we make them all soft and squishy. And then we additionally basically relax and dilate the bile ducts. So anything that would have been like a small tight passage, it's really relaxed when you do the flush, open, it's loose. That doesn't hurt the body at all. But so when those stones pass, no, I don't know anyone in all of the hundreds of liver flushes that has experienced like pain with the stones coming out during the flush. Um, it's actually pretty cool because you can feel some kind of sensation. Sometimes, not everybody can, but if you're really tuning in, sometimes you can feel almost like there's like marbles rolling down the tube or something, rolling down the channel, and you can feel some kind of like expulsions of the bile, and sometimes you can feel things moving. It depends on like when I had a really big flush with like crazy amounts of material moving, I did feel it, and I felt them moving down through the intestines too, but there was absolutely no pain whatsoever. And I think the most I've heard and experienced myself is like sometimes if it's big stuff that's moving, you'll feel like a little bit of pressure as sort of like the pressure builds up and then it like goes around the corner, and it moves on. So, and we do have protocols in place in my program in case there's any kind of stuck stone, question, but really that is incredibly rare to happen. And we do have ways to address that if that does happen. Another question is, can I do a liver flush if I've had my gallbladder removed? Yes, you absolutely can do a liver flush if you've had your gallbladder removed, and it's highly recommended because once you've lost your gallbladder, then there's kind of even more pressure on the liver to keep everything going. And in order to get to the point where you need to have your gallbladder removed, you would have already had to have buildup in the liver. So likely your liver is really in need of some attention and care and cleaning. So good to get started on that. But just keep in mind that it's recommended to wait 6 months after surgery before undertaking a liver flush. Do I need to have my supplies ready already is another question that gets asked. In terms of if you're doing my program, you don't have to have anything ready. I'm gonna walk you through every step of like, what supplies do I need? Where do I get them? And then you're gonna gather them, and it's all gonna be, you're gonna have time for all of that within the program. So no worries, you can just like jump in not knowing anything. And I also made this program because, some people don't want to read the book, and I totally understand that. And so you don't need to read the book. You don't need to read anything. You just listen to my videos. There might be like a little outline of what is said. There's a flush schedule document that you can print out for the day of the flush. You can just listen to those videos over and over again if you want. They're pretty short so that you can just get the point, and that way you don't ever have to read the book if you don't want. I'm just trying to like help make this accessible to people who don't want to learn it themselves from a book. So so I wanted to cover who is this liver flushing program for. The Liberate Your Liver program is specifically for those people it's for people who know that they probably need to liver flush, they want to liver flush, and they want some help with getting started and getting on a good track with liver flushing, establishing a good foundation so that they know that, yeah, they're on a good trajectory and they can have support to tweak the process as needed and iron out anything and really like set themselves up for sustainable flushing into the future. Because really this is more of a life path or, a longer term endeavor. And so I also want to say that liver flushing is not for everyone. And plenty of people just, what we mostly see is people just live their life and accumulate, and we accumulate, and basically the accumulation of toxins and the sort of lowering of the efficiency of our organs is what it looks like, or it's what we call aging, So, it's sort of like everything builds up and like works a little bit less good and stops being able to keep up and clean everything as good, and it just like compounds into the other systems as well, and they all eventually break down. But, that takes a pretty good lifetime in a lot of cases. So that is an option, and people often use medications to sort of um, take care of certain symptoms here and there so that they can kind of keep doing what they're doing and just live out their life. And that's like totally a valid option. In Chinese medicine, they actually talk about like leaving something in latency. Like if it's too far gone, kind of like, someone's really old and they have like this crazy cancer and they're like, I want to be healed, I want to be cured. And the doctor's like, it's not a good idea to like bring that out and like release it into your body. It's actually like the right thing to do is to actually sequester it and put it deeper into latency. So that's kind of how I see what a lot of people are doing, especially with taking medications that are kind of band-aids and don't address the root cause. We're kind of like just sequestering things into latency for as long as they can be in latency until it kind of just like overflows the dams, right? But liver flushing is a very different endeavor, Liver flushing is going in, opening up like the dark closet door down in the basement and starting to like pull things out that have been stored down there and like sorting through the trash and like, removing like huge amounts of cobwebs and like, yeah, finding out what's down in there. So it can be kind of gnarly and you really are going in and stirring something up to get it out. And the liver flushing process is trying to like get it out as swiftly and smoothly as possible, but at the same time, you still are opening the doors and you don't really know what what is going to come from the fact that you've opened that portal. So it's a choice, getting started with liver flushing is a choice to take seriously. And so I'm not pushing it on anyone. I'm just here to support those who feel called to do this work and feel like they really need to address their liver and they want, especially for the people who really want true vitality and are inspired by what true healing might look like by going after the root causes and cleaning up our filtration system. So that's who this program is for. And we're going to cover, in my program, we cover not just the liver flushing itself, the preparation, the schedule, the whole protocol, but we also cover more about the liver and why it's so important and like some of the mechanisms there, hopefully in a digestible format. Some of the symptoms that are connected with the liver, and then also we'll cover the supplies and equipment you need and get you set up with that. And then we also cover colon cleansing, enema tutorials. We also cover kidney support and kidney cleansing with herbs, the importance of electrolytes, some recipes there. As well as some herbs, foods, and sort of adjunct protocols that can really help make your like overall progress with cleaning out the liver, keeping on a good clip, moving forward with every day as opposed to like only having to wait for your flush. And then I also do address alternative flushing schedules, and then we have like troubleshooting, and there's a whole bunch of good stuff in there. And then of course it is supported, so that whole course program is available to you on demand to work through at your own pace, through an app actually and the browsers. You have videos and some text and some worksheets, and then it's all supported with live ongoing coaching with me and the group community, which is really fun to be together and share in that. And see people's results and discuss things. And then we have like a little community text messaging thread as well that is really fun to hear from everybody and keep in the loop. So the program is designed to support you in the long-term goal, you know, the long-term results. So that's why I made this whole thing lifetime access and unlimited coaching. So I just want, I do feel passionate about for those who I help, you know, learn about it or who come to me for support. I want to see you succeed in the long run. So I'm with you for that journey for as long as you'd like to be along for the ride. I am here. Um, yeah, and if you have, do you have any other questions that you'd like me to address? Please feel free to drop them in the comment, and also drop me a comment if you'd like to join this next cohort, the fourth cohort, which is starting by the end of or by the beginning of November. So we're got registration open now for the next week and a half. So drop me a comment, say me, I'm in, or liberate. You know, if you want to join the liberator movement, I would love to talk with you and see if it might be a good fit. So thanks for tuning in, and I wish you all a beautiful day, and may all beings be liberated.